Zambezi, the heart of wild Zimbabwe. At dawn, above the smooth surface of the great Zambezi River, there is a faint, almost imperceptible movement. In the golden air, thousands of tiny particles swirl a cloud of insects, glistening in the first rays of sunlight. They seem woven from light itself, as if the river is exhaling sparks to remind us of the breath of life hidden in every moment. Here in the heart of Zambezi National Park, nature lives by its own rhythm. The river, one of the longest in Africa, begins far to the northwest in Zambia and flows for thousands of kilometers before crashing down in the grand cascades of Victoria Falls. The smoke that thunders, as the Kololo people once called it. And here, on one of the river's ancient bends, in the shadowy thickets of the banks, a new day begins. The insects dance in the air. Their swarm is more than mere motion, it's an invitation to life. Birds notice them, fish chase them, frogs and spiders hidden in the grass await them. This dance is part of the great cycle that binds sky, water, and earth together. The water shimmers with reflections. Trees stand like ancient guardians, immersed in the twilight calm. They have long learned not to hurry, for on the banks of the Zambezi, everything follows its natural course. Time here does not rush, it flows, like the river itself. On the shore, in the shade of scattered trees, impalas graze. Their slender bodies glow with a reddish-gold hue in the morning sun. Each of their movements is like a delicate brushstroke on the canvas of the savannah. They make almost no sound, but their silence is deceptive. Behind their grace lies constant vigilance. The impala is one of the most graceful antelopes of southern Africa. It can leap 9 meters in length and up to 3 meters in height, as if the air itself lifts it above danger. Their greatest defense is movement, swift, coordinated, effortless. In the herd are females and young. They trust each other. Some feed, some stand guard, others scan the horizon. As long as there is no alarm, life flows peacefully. Nearby, dark specks flicker through the dry grass. Guineafowls. Like tiny medieval warriors, each appears helmeted dark blue-black feathers, deep-set eyes, a red crown, and white speckles across the body. Their walk is a comical scurry. But at the slightest rustle, the whole flock freezes, turning to stone. Guineafowls are the loud sentinels of the savannah. Their sharp cries warn all around of looming danger. Sometimes they're the first to spot a leopard in the bushes or an eagle overhead. Guineafowls and impalas have long shared this land. They face the same threats, and they share the same watchfulness. But in these calm moments, they are simply part of the morning landscape. The river flows slowly nearby. The air shimmers with warmth, and among the tree branches stands a giraffe, a silent wanderer of the African savanna. His head rises 6 meters high, reaching where no other grazer can. He feeds from the treetops where the leaves are still fresh, filled with sunlight. In Zambezi National Park, giraffes move with confidence. There are not many of them. They are not the most numerous inhabitants, but each one looks like a living myth. The dark patches on their bodies, like leaf shadows, render them nearly invisible among branches and light. His tongue is long and deft, up to 1/2 meter. He gently draws young shoots from between sharp thorns, never touching the acacia spines. There is no haste in this. He knows. The tree will give what is needed. Patience is key. His gait is slow and swaying. It feels as though he walks through time. Giraffes barely make a sound, but if you listen closely, you can hear the rustle of leaves in their mouths, the soft fall of petals in the morning air. He leaves as he came in silence, as if he were part of a dream or an ancient memory of what Africa looked like when it all began. On the branch of a mighty tree, in the dappled shade of the leaves, a hunter lies in wait, the brown snake eagle. His eyes are sharp as blades. He knows how to wait. He understands that the movement of grass might mean much more than just wind. Feeding on snakes and other reptiles, this predator is more than a hunter. He is balance itself, a symbol of precision, patience, and the quiet power that lies in silence. And here comes the baboon, busy, agile, always on the move. He climbs the trunk as if the tree were an extension of himself. In his world, nothing is random. Every leap, every glance is deliberate. He searches for fruit, checks the territory, or simply goes about. His business baboons always have something to do. High in the treetops, above the green mass of the savannah, a strange council sits still. Birds that resemble old sages in black cloaks, their heads tucked into their shoulders, watching the world from above. These are Marabou Storks. Their bodies appear heavy, almost clumsy, but once they take flight, they become rulers of the sky. Their broad wings, stretching up to 3 meters, lift them as if the very sky supports them. Marabous are scavengers. Their mission is to clean up after death so that life may continue. They don't hunt, they don't chase, they arrive last. But there's honesty in that. They are the clean-up crew of the ecosystem. Nature entrusted them with a task no one else performs. Their bald heads and massive beaks aren't deformities, they are tools. Everything that seems grotesque is perfectly adapted to their role. Now they are silent, waiting, watching, as if they sense that somewhere below, in the leaves and shadows, life is unfolding, and death, as always, is close by, and they will be there. At the very top of a tree, where the leaves flutter against the backdrop of open sky, a silhouette dozes. This is not just a bird, this is a watcher. Unseen, calm, as if the air itself had taken form. Its feathers, bleached by the sun, have faded to a pale grey, almost white. Motionless, it resembles a dry branch, but one turn of the head, and it becomes clear. This is a predator, cautious, focused, dangerous. It wastes no energy. The day is only beginning, and a hunt lies ahead. For now it grooms its feathers, with its beak sharpening its weapons. Everything must be in order. Wings, talons, breath. From this height, it sees what is hidden from the rest. Every movement below flashes like a signal. While the earth still warms in the sun, in the crown of the tree, flight is already taking shape. In the sky, only he and the wind. Enormous wings slice through the air with measured grace, catching thermal currents rising from the sun-warmed earth. No rush, only precise calculation and perfect mastery of space. Below an endless expanse, where the horizon dissolves into a shimmering haze, but directly beneath him is not just a river. This is Victoria, a waterfall, where time itself seems to slow down. Here, the waters of the Zambezi, having gathered strength over thousands of kilometers, collide with the abyss. From a height of over 100 meters, torrents plunge downward with relentless force, creating columns of mist seen and heard from dozens of kilometers away. The line of the cliff stretches for nearly 2 kilometers from one bank to the other. This is not a narrow stream slipping through rocks. It is a curtain of water that fills the entire field of view. In the rainy season, Victoria becomes truly boundless. Thousands of cubic meters of water crash down every second with a roar you don't just hear, you feel it with your whole body. And within this unimaginable scene, a lone silhouette in the sky. He doesn't challenge the power of the water. He simply glides above it, a silent reminder. Where the river ends, the sky begins. When Victoria is at full flood, it feels as if the planet itself has begun to speak. Every second, more than 9 million liters of water plunge into the abyss. It's not a stream, not a flow, it's an entire river, throwing itself from a height of 108 meters into a swirling cloud of mist and thunder. The waterfall's width is nearly 1,700 meters. Imagine it a wall of water almost 2 kilometers long, vanishing downward and launching clouds of vapor skyward. Thanks to this mist, the surrounding vegetation, a lush rainforest, thrives even during dry months. But Victoria has other faces. In the dry season, its torrents split into individual streams, and through them you can see the sheer canyon walls. Then the waterfall bears its bones, the depth of rock carved by centuries. Still, in any season, it remains one of the most powerful waterfalls on Earth. Not the tallest, not the widest, but in total force, in volume and scale, unmatched. It can be heard from dozens of kilometers away, seen from the sky, and never forgotten by anyone who has stood before it, wrapped in mist and thunder. Victoria is not just a natural wonder. It is a boundary between above and below, stillness and storm, earth and sky. And while the water plunges into the void, everything around seems to pause. Even eagles, masters of the air, do not compete with such power. They merely pass by, silently, with respect. On the map of Africa, Victoria Falls lies exactly on the border between two countries, Zimbabwe and Zambia. Here, the Zambezi River, after a journey of nearly 2,500 kilometers, suddenly meets a cliff. Water knows no borders, but humans have drawn them. The right bank is Zambia, the left Zimbabwe. And each side offers its own view of this elemental force. Around the waterfall grows an evergreen, mist-fed forest. It lives thanks to fine droplets of moisture that hover in the air, almost constantly a true rain without rain. While the surrounding savanna burns under the sun, here, at the foot of Victoria, ferns, epiphytes, moisture-loving grasses, wet meadows, and rare trees flourish. Among them, fig trees, red sycamores, palms, and even wild mango trees. The mist created by the falls is not just a beautiful veil, it is the breath of a giant. In flood season, the spray rises up to 400 meters high. Sometimes it's visible even from an airplane, and the roar, it can be heard 40 kilometers away. This is no exaggeration, it's a fact, and it explains the ancient name given to the waterfall by local tribes. Mosi, Oa, Tanya, the smoke that thunders. The modern name appeared much later by Victoria's standards, only recently. In 1855, the Scottish missionary and explorer David Livingstone became the first European to reach the edge and witness the watery abyss unfolding before him. He named it after Queen Victoria, the British monarch, and symbol of the colonial age of exploration. He was awestruck by what he saw. His journals speak of it as the greatest sight in Africa. Since then, the waterfall has become known to the world, but it hasn't changed. As it did thousands of years ago, the water still falls. Birds still circle over the canyon. The forest drinks the mist, and the sky still reflects in the river, as if watching everything from above. Above the still water, on thin, dry branches, tiny silhouettes are lined up in a row. Their bodies are light, their movements almost a dance. These birds seem to be made of morning light, green backs, reddish chests, and a distinctive white stripe on their foreheads, the mark that gave them their name. White-fronted bee-eaters. They sit motionless, but it's deceiving. In the next second, one of them darts into the air, makes a swift turn, and returns with a stinging trophy in its beak. That is their craft. Their diet consists of bees, wasps, hornets, and other stinging insects. Before swallowing their prey, they skillfully disarm it, striking it against a branch to remove the sting and venom. This technique has been perfected to an art. Bee-eaters live in colonies that can number in the hundreds. Their nests are long, horizontal tunnels dug into sandy riverbanks. Sometimes these colonies resemble entire underground cities. Here, along the bends of the Zambezi where the soil allows, such homes are a common sight. These birds are true ornaments of the landscape. Their elegance, iridescent plumage, and grace in flight make them some of the most exquisite creatures in the valley. And yet, they are more than just beauty. Bee-eaters are an essential part of the ecosystem. They help control the population of stinging insects and, in turn, become food for larger predators. Life here is a chain, and every link is vital. In the middle of the wide river, as if grown straight from the water, stands an ancient tree. Its roots are half submerged, the trunk bent like in a dance, branches drooping toward the water, and its crown lush, green, alive. It has stood here a long time. It has witnessed floods and droughts, and perhaps even the first people who came to the Zambezi for water. Now it has become an island, a refuge. On its curved, delicate branches, like a balcony above the river, herons have settled. Their long necks form graceful arcs, their feathers stirred by the wind. Some are ruffled from fishing, others motionless, watching the mirror-like surface below. Herons are birds of silence. They don't cry out without reason. They simply exist like the tree, like the river. And this scene is not just beautiful, it is balance. Where the land ends and the elements begin, there will always be a point of stillness. Where the river roars, there will be a branch for rest. Here, everything is in its place. And while the water carries reflections of the sky, the tree holds living sky upon itself, in feathers, in wings, in the gentle turning of heads. Right at the water's edge comes a quiet rustling, as if someone had scattered a handful of seeds on the branches. These are red-billed queleas. There are many of them arriving all at once in a bustling flock. Each bird quickly finds its spot. One clings to a stalk, another lands on a slanted twig. All are in motion, restless, as if the water calls to them and time for a sip is limited. They drink with remarkable agility. Descending for a moment, they barely touch the surface one sip, and they're already airborne. Not a second wasted, everything is precise. Approach, touch, lift off. Then come the next ones in turn, rhythmically, as if it's a ritual. This is what caution looks like, honed into reflex. Here in Africa, even the smallest life knows the price of alertness. Water gives strength, but only to those who can take it and retreat in time. And still, despite the dangers, they return here every day, because the Zambezi is not just a river, it is life. And it flows not only through its channel, but through all those who depend on it. Among the shrubs and dry grasses, where the thickets flare gold in the morning light, a silhouette slowly emerges. An African buffalo. Massive, as if carved from stone, he walks heavily, yet calmly. In his gaze severity, in his stride confidence, he is not a fugitive, not a hunter. He is the master of the plains. His horns curve like crescent moons, and his coat is dark as a midnight downpour. African buffaloes often gather in large herds, but sometimes go off alone, and when they do, it's best not to disturb them. They are among the most dangerous animals on the continent. Not far off, rising above the thickets, stands a giraffe. He moves almost soundlessly, as if gliding above the earth rather than walking on it. His neck stretches toward the treetops to leaves no other herbivore can reach. He plucks them with the precision of a craftsman. There is something remarkable about these giants. Though they reach nearly 6 meters in height, they never appear cumbersome. Every movement carries grace. Every turn speaks of ancient wisdom. And higher still, at the tops of trees that only the sky chooses, white pelicans have settled. Their wide beaks look like they were made for another world. They resemble ancient creatures. These birds travel in flocks, and when not fishing, they love to spend time in trees, like sea wanderers who have strayed into the savannah. Some preen their feathers, others doze with their necks outstretched. Their presence adds a touch of irony to the landscape, as if they don't quite belong, and yet they fit in perfectly. This morning, the savannah resembles a grand theatre. Each creature has its stage, its role. Buffaloes trace their path below. Giraffes reach upward, linking earth to sky. And the birds watch from above from the realm of air. And all of it just a single moment in a place called Zambezi. Atop the palms rising above the Zambezi River Valley, a whole colony of white pelicans has taken residence. Their large silhouettes stand out dramatically against the fan-like fronds, lit by the soft glow of evening light. These palms likely belong to the species Hyphaein petersiana, the doom palms, typical of southern Africa's wetter regions. Their broad leaves form perfect platforms for large birds to rest. The pelicans sit calmly and confidently, as if guarding their kingdom from above. Some stand with wings outstretched. Others tuck their beaks into their feathers, settling in for the night. These trees serve not only as lookouts, but as safe havens from ground predators. Every now and then, one of the birds flaps its wings, as if testing the space around it. Despite their size, pelicans are graceful flyers, capable of traveling far in search of fish. They read the water's surface with ease and hunt cooperatively, forming arcs to herd prey toward the shore. A soft, golden glow lies over the dry plain. The sun is no longer as harsh as it was at noon, yet it still generously bathes the scorched grass, the coppery leaves of the shrubs, and the smooth backs of the animals in warm light. From between the bushes, they appear the zebras. At first glance, just black and white stripes against the ochre earth. But the longer you look, the more their beauty reveals itself. Each zebra has a unique, unrepeatable pattern like a personal passport. The stripes are not just decoration, they help with camouflage in tall grass, confuse predators during a chase, and possibly even protect from insect bites by reflecting light in specific wavelengths. In the herd mares with foals, adolescent youngsters, and adult males. The females stay close, guarding their young. The herd grazes unhurriedly. They tear at the dry grass, chew slowly, always alert. Zebras have excellent hearing and sharp eyesight. While some feed, others keep their heads up, scanning the surroundings, and in that lies their strength. It is through unity that zebras survive on the open plains, where danger can strike from any direction. Many think of zebras as just striped horses. But despite their kinship, they are of a different spirit. A zebra is wild and proud. It cannot be tamed, will not bear a rider, and won't accept a bridle. Every movement holds a quiet defiance. Even the youngest show that stubborn dignity. One zebra tilts her head and sniffs the air. Somewhere ahead, perhaps other grazers, maybe a herd of wildebeest, or maybe the heat is coming. The animals don't hurry, but neither do they linger. The herd is always on the move. They need fresh grass, a safe place to sleep, access to water, and yet now, in this sunlit clearing, the world seems to pause. No predators, no fear, only a calm, striped life. One zebra walks along a path between the bushes. Her hooves tread softly on the dust. A foal follows, still clumsy, but trying to keep pace. The sun plays across their backs, and the stripes shimmer, pulsing with the rhythm of wild Africa. And it feels as if nature itself has stopped for a moment to gaze upon them, beautiful, alive, free. In the deepening dusk, a leopard appears among the trees. He seems to have grown out of the very landscape. The spots on his coat blend with leaves, fallen foliage, and bark. He doesn't stalk or rush. He simply moves like a ghost, like a piece of the forest that suddenly gained form and direction. For a few moments, he stands among the thickets, listening, watching, breathing in the air. Then he steps onto the sandy path, and without looking back, he disappears into the depths of the greenery, into eternity, into his wild, untamed freedom. Thus ends the day above the Zambezi River. The water still carries the power, the light, and the breath of the living world. A pelican slowly rises from the top of a palm, brushing the sky with its wide wings. The last ray of sun gilds the manes of zebras and the smooth brows of buffalo. Along the riverbanks, flocks of birds disperse. Silhouettes freeze on the branches. Thick tree canopies close the day's scene like a curtain. Night approaches slowly but steadily. It brings with it stars, silence, and the deep breath of the savannah. And above it all, a sense of wholeness, of ancient order, where every creature has its place, its voice, its fate. Zimbabwe, Zambezi. Here, the wild speaks for itself.